When the bodies are so many that satellites pick them up, you have to act. Otherwise, you are complicit. The sheer scale of the civilian killings and atrocities has brought everyone's attention to Africa. It therefore becomes paramount for everyone to be informed about what's happening in Africa and the conflict that paved way for atrocities. The tragedy unfolding in Sudan today began not with foreign invasion, but with ambition, betrayal, and power. In April 2023, gunfire erupted in Khartoum as two generals, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, head of the army, and Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, known as Hemedti, leader of the powerful Rapid Support Forces, turned their uneasy alliance into open war. Just 2 years earlier, they had seized power together in a coup, promising to restore order. But when talks began on returning Sudan to civilian rule, their rivalry exploded. The key dispute: who would command a unified army, and what would happen to the RSF's 100,000 fighters? According to the IRC, more than 12 million people have been forcibly displaced since April 2023, and 30.4 million people now need humanitarian assistance, more than half the country. The RSF traces its roots to the Janjaweed militia, infamous for genocide in Darfur. Over time, it built its own empire, controlling gold mines and wielding vast power, allegedly backed by the UAE. The Sudanese army, internationally recognized, holds the north and east, its base in Port Sudan, backed by Egypt. What began as a political struggle has spiraled into catastrophe. Over 150,000 killed, 12 million displaced, and a genocide reawakening in Darfur. Today, the RSF controls almost all of Darfur, and entire towns have been erased. The world watches satellite images of death from space. In the region of Darfur, and specifically the city of al-Fasher, witnesses speak of walking through streets littered with bodies, of survivors emerging from what the IRC calls a hellscape. Meanwhile, the health system is collapsing. Over 70% of hospitals destroyed, cholera surging, famine engulfing communities. This is no longer simply war, it's a catastrophe, potentially a genocide in motion. What makes this crisis truly alarming is the evidence. Analysts at institutions such as the Yale Humanitarian Research Lab have used satellite imagery to track mass graves, burned-out neighborhoods, vehicle columns of fleeing civilians. Descriptions so stark, analysts say that what's happening in al-Fasher can be seen from space. When mass killing leaves signatures on satellite images, we cross from conflict into crime against humanity territory. The RSF's takeover of al-Fasher and subsequent wave of killings among non-Arab ethnic groups, for Zagawa, Berti, begins to resemble a pattern of ethnic targeting. The UN and the world's humanitarian agencies have raised the alarm, yet the killings keep mounting. Let's pause. The United Nations system is meant to protect civilians, to sanction atrocity, to mobilize peacekeeping. But in Sudan, the UN has been hampered by several factors. 1. Access is severely restricted in Darfur and al-Fasher. Aid cannot reach many of the most at-risk people. 1. Regional power brokers and weapons flows are unstopped. Outside states fuel the war rather than freeze it. 1. The UN Security Council is divided. Key powers veto or dilute meaningful intervention. The result: a seemingly powerless international system while genocide advances. For viewers who ask, why isn't the UN stopping this? Now you know the structural reasons. Now, why must the United States act, not merely observe? Moral imperative. When satellite imagery, survivor accounts, and ground data point to mass killing, the US, as a global power, carries a responsibility to protect. Strategic interest. Destabilization of Sudan threatens the Sahel, the Horn of Africa, and regional security. Refugee flows, extremist exploitation, chaotic weapon flows all affect US interests. Credibility and deterrence. If the US stands idle here, what precedent are we setting for future atrocities elsewhere? Feasible tools. US can act without full-scale invasion. Sanctions, arms embargoes, intelligence sharing, support for international investigations, conditional aid. These are realistic, high-impact options. In short, Failing to act is not neutral. It is complicity. Enter the political layer. U.S. President Donald Trump has issued strong rhetoric on foreign atrocities and declared the U.S. cannot stand by while Christians or other persecuted groups are slaughtered. While much coverage has focused on Nigeria, the tone signals a U.S. domestic politics linking of atrocity to action. For Seminal Affairs viewers, this matters because foreign policy is shaping up as a domestic narrative. U.S. voters care about moral leadership, and politicians will respond. Trump's statements may stir pressure for U.S. involvement in Sudan as well. But caution, rhetoric must translate into policy. Otherwise, it becomes mere political theater while civilians pay the price. So what must we demand right now? Immediate humanitarian corridors into Darfur and al-Fasher. A U.S.-led push for arms embargoes, sanctions on RSF leadership and suppliers. Support for international investigative mechanisms and accountability. Diplomatic pressure on regional powers to stop fueling the conflict. Public awareness. This crisis must not hide behind headlines. As viewers of Seminal Affairs, share this video. Post the satellite images. Tag your representatives. Voice matters. Because when the world looks away, the killing continues. And when you can see death from space, silence is no longer an option. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe, like, and share.